Video number 177, graphing the sine of 2x. This time we're multiplying the value that we're taking the sine of. So we're multiplying the domain by 2 rather than the range. Now, what that does is this. In order for us to get to having this angle be 45 degrees, or pi over 4, in order for us to actually take the sine of 45, we would have to do pi over 8. In the last video, look what we used. We used pi over 4, pi over 2, 3 pi over 4, pi, 5 pi over 4, 3 pi over 2, 7 pi over 4, 2 pi. Well, here, look what you do now. We're actually going to end up increasing the denominators by 2 because we're dividing everything in the domain by 2. Now what happens, here's what's cool about this. What ends up happening is this. Okay? What ends up happening is we end up completing a full cycle or a full period with up to here. So we actually end up getting a full cycle from 0 to pi rather than from 0 to 2 pi. We get a full cycle there. Alright, so then what ends up happening, you end up with what? 2 full cycles, see that? For our domain from 0 to 2 pi. It's pretty interesting how it all works out. What probably ends up happening, as you might guess, is that if whatever this number is, that's how many cycles you're going to fit in here. So if it would have been sine of, let's just do it for a second. Let's say it was sine 4x. Well, that would be 0. This would be, instead of pi over 4, it would have been what? Pi over 16. Instead of pi over 2, this would have been pi over 8. Instead of 3 pi over 4, this would have been 3 pi over 16. Instead of pi over 2, or instead of pi, this would have been pi over 4. Okay, instead of 5 pi over 4, this would have been 5 pi over 16. Instead of 3 pi over 2, it would have been 3 pi over 8. Instead of 7 pi over 4, 7 pi over 16, and then this would have been simply pi over 4. Now look what happens there. This doesn't even get us these x values. It doesn't even get us here. See that? So that's what's pretty cool about this. You'll end up getting 4 cycles rather than, oh, excuse me, 2 pi over 4. This would have been pi over 2. Yeah, and 2 pi divided by 4. Okay, yeah. So we would have actually stopped here. We would have gone 1, 2, 3, 4. See that? Let's go back to that one. Pretty neat. It would have gone 1, 2, 3, 4. See how that worked? That's pretty interesting what we just found. This number is going to give us the number of times we would have had a full cycle to wrap us back from our 0 back to our 360. That number in front looks like it's what got the job done for us. So, good times, and talk to you later.